Welcome to the today's class. Today is the last topic in the behavioral modeling. Okay, so behavioral modeling part 5. Okay, because this is the very important modeling style, therefore we have spent a lot of time on this one. Therefore we have to use almost succeeding chapters, chapter number 4 and chapter number 5. Mostly chapter number 4 is basically depending upon this behavioral modeling only. That's the reason why it is necessary we have to put a concentration on how to write a behavioral modeling for this one. Okay, so in the previous class that we have seen that, okay, uh, behavioral modeling for memory elements, okay, sequential memory elements that we have seen already. Okay, T flip-flop have you done or not? JK flip-flop, T flip-flop. Let me check once. Yeah, counters and T flip-flop, everything that I have written. Okay, fine. When time comes, we will discuss that point also. Okay, so memory elements that we have seen and registers that we have seen. The thirdly that we have seen, counters that we have seen. Okay, some of the sequential memory, say sequential circuits that we have seen, right? Okay, fine. Now today we look at almost all these things we normally treated as sequential circuits. Now we are going to look at some other behavioral modeling. Okay, that is called behavioral modeling of combinational circuits. And lastly, we are going to look at the behavioral modeling of finite state machines, FSM. So that is what we have to see. Okay, so let us take one combinational circuits. One of the combinational circuit we'll look at. For example, a decoder, let us consider. Okay, decoder 2x4, let us consider. I'm going to write the behavioral modeling for the 2x4 decoder, and then another two things that I want to write, and then we'll go for the finite state machines. Okay, so as I mentioned that if you consider any modeling style, whether it is a behavioral, whether it is a data flow modeling, whether it is a structural, whether it is a gate level modeling, that means a gate level modeling or a data flow modeling or a behavioral modeling, we can use for any logical circuit. Okay, but there are some limitations are there when you are using these modeling styles for all the circuits. For generally, for example, if you talk about the sequential circuits, writing the gate level modeling for the sequential circuit is not that much advisable. Okay, because it consisting of n number of gates and everything. Okay, it's not at all advisable one. Okay, therefore it's better for the sequential circuit go for the behavioral modeling. For example, if you consider data flow modeling, that is also restricted for the small, less complex systems only. Okay, because the equations are depending upon that one, and input-output behavior also will play a crucial role. Therefore, it is also not advisable for a complex circuit using the data flow modeling. Whereas the behavioral modeling can be used any place, at any point of time. Okay, it is an advisable one because it completely based on logic or completely based on truth table. Okay, so therefore we don't bother about the internal relationship, internal circuitry of the design like a gate level modeling. We don't bother about the mathematical equation developed from the truth table, so we don't bother about it. Therefore, we are reducing the complexity something like this. For example, you started with the gate level modeling. So That means that we have to develop the gate level modeling. So first we have to start, first we have a truth table. From the truth table to basic equations, okay, and from the equations to from equations to logic circuitry, okay, logic circuitry. That means it may be a gates or it may be something else. Okay, for the gate level modeling is here. We can apply the gate level modeling at this point. Data flow modeling we can apply this at this point, but here we can use directly behavioral modeling. So we don't bother about any other things. Okay, the input output behavior, input output behavior is more than sufficient. Okay, so we don't bother about all these information at all. So that's the reason why most of the cases it is called as high level language, and this is as a suggestible uh, modeling style at any instant of the time for any digital circuit, right? So in that sense, we are going to use a combination of circuit data flow modeling, sorry, behavioral modeling. So everybody knows that, for example, have a two input data is something here. It is called D. For example, this is Y. It's a 4-bit size Y. So what is the what is the truth table for this one, or input output behavior of this one? As we know that if D is an input, okay, for sake of simplicity, I'm writing like this only. Okay, so if it is 0, 0, for example, 0, 0, output is 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. So I'm not following the syntax, proper syntax of this one. I think you know very well. Okay, 0, 0. Sorry, this is the 1. This is 1, 0. If it is 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, and 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0. Something like this we have. Okay, so we need to write the program based on this one. How do you write? So by using the behavioral modeling, okay? So module decoder underscore 2x4. So A comma Y, and input is 1 down to 0 of A. Output, we need to write it as a register data type. Please don't forget about this one. Register data type of 3 down to 0 of Y, right? Now I'm going to use always statement, since I'm interested to use behavioral modeling at the rate of. So what factors that I should write here? That's important one. Okay. So the output is depending upon what variables, or which variables it is depending on. Generally, the output is depending on input change only. So whenever you find a change in the input, output will automatically changes. Okay. So that's the reason why the sensitivity list here is only the A, no other thing, right? So we write A is my sensitivity list. So I have to consider, therefore it is better to write a case statement here whenever we have different number of truth table is something like this. How big it is, it doesn't matter. You consider that this is the case number 1, case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4. Okay, we have 4 cases are there. So better to use the case statement here. Let us start here the begin, and I want to end here. Finally, I want to go for end module. In between, I'm going to write a case statement. Okay, case. What is the case that I'm talking about? Case for A I'm talking about, right? Case for A. So what is the A says that if A is equal to bit of 0, 0, number notation I'm following, Y is actually a 4-bit of 0, 0, 0, 1. As simple as that, right? So that's what we are saying, that if the input is equal to 0, 0, sorry, if the input is equal to 0, 0, the output is this much, right? For example, if the input is equal to bit of 0 1, if you write, okay, what is the y value? Y is 4 bit of 0 0 1 0. That's all. So if input is equal to, sorry, input is equal to 1 0, what is the y here now? Output 4 bit of 0 1 0 0. Last one is 1 1. Y is equal to 4 bit of 1 0 0 0. Finally, default is very important. Don't forget about to write default for all other cases except the given. Okay, except the given, y is equal to 4 bit of all zeros. This is better, or all x, all z, or all zeros also can be written. So finally, I need to write end module, right? Sorry, end module already written, but we need to write end case, right? So end case. Don't write any semicolon there at the for the end case. End case must be at the same. Must be right. You must write it as a same word. Okay, that's better. Is it clear? So therefore, it is simply writing this code. Okay, that means I have a truth table. That based on the truth table, I'm able to write the program something like this. Okay, so generally, whatever the assignments that we are doing here, okay, so let us consider one assignment here. Okay, this is the one assignment, right? Copy and paste. So let us consider a small point here. Whatever the assignment that we are doing here, this assignment is called blocking assignment. Blocking assignment. So what do you mean by the blocking assignment? That means that once, for example, for the sake of simplicity, I'm telling you like this. Next, another one is, for example, y is equal to y. This is y1 antunana. It is y2, for example. So 4 bit of 1001, for example, I'm writing. Okay. So since how do we say that this is the blocking statement? So based on this equation, equal, based on this equal, I can say that this is the blocking assignment statement. Okay. So what is the significance of this blocking assignment statement is, so once y1 is completed thoroughly, then only it will go to the y2. That means y1 must be, what is the meaning of the assignment? Blocking assignment means y1 must be, or I can say that right hand side. So this is normally it is a value I have written. Generally it can be an expression. Okay, for simplicity I'm writing a plus b. For simplicity I'm writing a plus b. Okay, if y is equal to a plus b, I have written something like this. Instead, here is the number I have written, here the number I have written, here the value that I have given. It's better to write in this way. So here what is happening here is evaluation is there. It must be evaluated, right? And the second one is assignment. Okay, so therefore particular equation consisting of assignment as well as evaluation. Okay, so for the blocking assignment, once y1 is completely evaluated and assigned, then only it will go to the y2. Clear? So once y1 is not completed, so therefore I can simply say that y1 must be completed, y1 must be evaluated and assigned completely. So assigned and assigned completely. Okay, y1 must be evaluated and assigned completely, then only y2 will take into consideration, Okay, So that is what the meaning of the blocking statements. Blocking statement is identified by using the equality operator, so assignment operator. This is actually assignment operator. This is actually assignment operator, right? Okay, this is how we can identify this as a blocking statement. And what is the significance of this blocking statement is, it must be evaluated and assigned, then only it will go to the next statement to execute, right? That's what we can say. So almost here, all the statements are assignment statements only. Okay, so let us take another example. Okay, for example, 7-segment display decoder. Okay, for simplicity, I'm writing here is 7-segment display decoder. So what do you mean by the 7-segment display decoder? Okay, so I'll give the idea, and then you can write the Verilog program as it is, something like this. For example, we have a 7 segments are something as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let us consider this is a line, this is B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, so these are all LEDs. 7 LEDs are there in this one. Okay, we want to display in numbers. Okay, how many numbers that we can display? So 10 numbers that we can display. Okay, so we can display 0, we can display 0, we can display 1, we can display 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 10 digits that we are able to display this one. Okay, now, so how do we design a circuit? How do we write a program to generate the circuit? Okay, so as everybody knows that it's a very simple thing. It is actually a BCD number, right? It is actually a BCD number. What is the best way that we can implement the circuit diagram? So I want to generate, first of all, 0, for example. I want to generate 0. What do you mean by 0? That means a LED. So consider that A, B, C, D, E, F, G are all LEDs. Okay. If you switch off this LED G, then it will become 0, right? So something like this. 1, A, B, C, right? It is just like a simply 0 and then 0, but it is how normally we write, but this is a digital point of view, it is a 0. Okay, that means what are the LEDs are glowing here? A, B, C, D, E, F, right? So the moment whenever you are writing a 0 here, so the LEDs must glow. For example, LED is an output for you, for example. Okay, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So for this combination, okay, if you want to generate a 0, for example, zero kavalante, if you want to have a 0, so what LEDs must glow? This is the one, it must glow, it must glow, it must glow, this is also must glow. 1, 1, 0, but it should not glow. Okay, it is switched off. Is it clear? For example, if I want to have a logic 1 here, not logic 1 number I want to display. Okay, either you can consider only this side, or maybe this side also we can consider, but usual practice we will consider at this point. Okay, so therefore I'll consider at the ABC side. Okay, B and C will be on, remaining all are off. Something like this. For example, 1. Okay, so that means I want to make switch it on for B and C. For remaining all things will be equal to 0. Okay, so therefore that's how we can write. This is the A0 must be 0, B must be 1, C must be 1, remaining all are zeros. Remaining all are zeros. Okay, so something like this for the two for the 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, well, for the 9, what we can do for simplicity, what I can do for the 9, 1, sorry, yes, 1, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, something like this. 9 means we should remove this one, right? We remove chesi, ఇది కూడా remove చేస్తే 9 అవుతుందా? So something like this, 9. It is something like this, 9, okay? So that's how we can write it. Okay, for that one, what are the different LEDs are on? A, B, C, D, there is no D, E ledu. A, B, C, D, E, F, F from the G only. So therefore, finally what I am going to write, simply I'll write A is available, B is available, C is available, D not there, E ledu, F from the G only. So therefore you can fill all these things, right? You can fill all these things. So if you want to write a gate level modeling for the circuit or a data flow modeling for the circuit, it's a very complicated procedure, right? Everybody knows that. Okay, therefore simply what I have done, just I have developed the truth table from this one. Okay, how many number of bits that are required for this number 0 to 8? How many bits? How many bits that are required? So that means what is the maximum number here? You can see the maximum number is 9. How many bits that are sufficient? If you write 2 bits, only for number 4 is maximum 4 values only we are able to do. 3 bits, for example, you consider. So how many number of 8? For example, 4 bit if you consider, 16 can be possible. Okay, so therefore we have to consider 4 bits for each and every digit, right? So therefore instead of taking A, B, 0 and 1 and 2 and 3, I'm going to consider this is with the help of 4 digits. For example, 0, 0, 0, 0, okay, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, something like this. This is 8, 1, 0, 0, 1, 8 plus 1, 9. Okay, so therefore, for example, this is X. For example, this is data D and no, D is already mentioned there, right? Better what we can write it, for example, Y ankunna. Okay, na? So therefore what we have to do is that, so we consider a device is something like this, having a Y input here, having 4-bit size, and we have how many outputs are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 bits of, for example, what we can write it, segment. We'll write it this way, segment. Okay, then it is possible to write the Verilog program for this. Okay, just use the case statement, write it as a homework. Here you can write it for the combination of clue is so for example 4 bit of all zeros and 4 bit of all zeros means segment segment is equal to colon segment is equal to 7 bits of ఎంత అవుతుంది? First this one we'll write. Okay, 7 bits of 1 1 1 0, something like this we can write it. Only the last one, 4 5 6 7. Is it clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
So very simple, just for the 2x4 decoder, whatever the way that we have written according to this top level module. So based on this theory and top level module and based on the previous case statement, it is possible to write the Verilog program for that. Okay, please try to do it at your home. Okay, it's very simple only. If you have any doubt, please let me know. Okay, so this is not only these are the combinational circuits. If statements also we can use it for different combinations. Okay, for the For the sake of simplicity, I'm using the case statement. If statements are also possible to use. For loop also can sometimes we can use it if the iterative number of modules that are necessary, then go for the for loop also. Okay. So now I'm going to quickly go for the behavioral modeling for finite state machine. Okay. So next one is behavioral modeling for FSM. Okay. So one way to understand the any digital circuit is with the help of truth table. Okay. By looking at the truth table, we can identify the functionality of any circuit. Okay. So similarly, we have another method is there that is called finite state machine method. In this method, it is possible to understand the operation of any digital system with the help of finite number of states. Okay, so this is a very popular method. It is people will use to identify the functionality of complex digital systems. For example, if it is a sound segment display or something like very simple circuit can be possible to see by using the truth table. If it is a very complex circuit, some multipliers, encoders, multipliers, or divisions, some more complex arithmetic circuits, it is difficult to identify the functionality based on the truth table, because the truth table contains are if the number of elements, nothing but these are the number of elements in the truth table is increases, it's very difficult to identify from the truth table. Therefore, it's better to identify from the finite state machines. So later the people have gone for another alternative method, because finite state machine is also not a sufficient method to identify that one. Therefore, they will use algorithmic state machine charts people will use to identify the functionality of the digital circuits in a more detailed manner. Okay, so let us go for first of all finite state machine, then we'll go for ASM charts in the next unit. Okay, so for example, we take one sequential circuit. Okay, so the state diagrams in generally normal use. So here normally we use, the basic idea here is that the state diagrams are used in finite state machines, right? And another point we have to remember is that, so FSM stands for finite state machine. So state diagrams that we use, therefore whenever we are applying some input to a particular system, it changes its output. We can say that the system is there in a particular state. For example, we consider more detailed discussion is something like this. Consider a combinational circuit here. Okay, and we have a sequential memory element at this point, memory. So generally what is happening here, if I say that what is the state of this system, this digital system, what is the state of this digital system anna ankondi, so what is the content that is available in the memory will decide that one. Okay, so for example, the state of the memory is nothing but for example 4 flip-flops use చేశారు అనుకోండి. For example 4 flip-flops use చేసేయండి, 4-bit information ఏదైతే ఉంటుందో that will be the state of your digital system. Of course, a part of the output will be considered, or the part of this one is considered to be stored. The output is stored in the memory, and again the memory will be converted here, can give it back to the input of this one, and this will be the another primary input. So this is the primary output, this is the primary input. Okay, okay, so now what will happen here is that, so if you want to identify whenever you are applying a primary input to this system, in addition to the clock signal, the content of the flip-flop will changes. So as I mentioned, the state of the system is nothing but the content available in the memory. The content available in the memory can changes by applying an input. Then we can change it. We can say that the system changes its state. Okay, so therefore, depending upon the number of inputs, the finite number of states are sufficient to identify the system operation. Okay, so this finite state machine can be classified into two types. FSM can be classified into two types. One is called Mealy FSM. The next one is called Mealy FSM. Okay, so therefore in the Moore FSM, what we can say that with a simple definition I'm writing here. So the output is completely depending upon a function of primary input and present state of the system. Primary input and present state of the system. Both are required for that one. Whereas in the Moore system, the output is completely depending upon only the present state of the system. The output is depending upon the present state of the system only. Okay, so we don't want to focus mainly on this classifications and everything, but you might have studied in the digital electronics. That's only for granted that we have the state diagram is available. With the help of the state diagram, we want to write a Verilog program for that one. That's all. Okay. So, for example, you consider one of the finest sequential circuit. Most of the cases, the sequential circuits are represented in the finite state machines. Of course, the combination circuits are also possible, but generally we talk about the finite state machines are most relevant to the sequential circuits. Okay, so consider one sequential circuit that is actually a sequence detector. Sequence detector. Okay, so it has to detect 101, for example. Okay, that means that we consider one particular digital system that is a sequential circuit. Normally we consider a sequential circuit for the clarity. Sequential sequential circuits. Having the primary input here is that we have a primary output and there is a clock signal here is available. Okay, therefore inside block is already I have shown previously. Okay, now this sequential circuit can be considered as a sequence detector, which means that, for example, here X is my input signal, for example. X can be a sequence of number of ones, 1 zeros and 1 0, something like this, 1 1 0 1 1, something like this. It is coming. So output is produces whenever I detect the 101 consecutively. It is coming from 101. Okay, so like that it will generate. For example, first 0 has come here. Okay, so the 3 bits have not completed, therefore the output is 0. So here if another 1 is there, 3 bits not completed, the output is 0. So another one came into existence, so it is output is also 0, but 3 bits have come, but output is 0 because it's not detected 101. It is actually 110. Something like this, it will be generated as all outputs except this point. Okay, ఇక్కడ నుంచి అబ్జర్వ్ చేశారు అనుకోండి, ఇక్కడ లాస్ట్ బట్ 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13. Okay, so therefore this bit becomes 1 now. Okay, this bit becomes 1. Why? Because it is actually 101 is detected at this place. Here you find 0 because 3 bits not completed, 3 bits not completed, but here 3 bits are completed. That's the reason why we can say the output is equal to 1 at that point. Okay, so all this, whether the input is coming inside of this sequential circuit or sequence generator, that is decided by a clock signal. So whenever the clock signal is equal to 1, this first bit is considered to be is available to the circuit and produce an output. Next we apply another clock signal, take another bit, okay, and produce an output is 0 sum. So like this it will be generating the sequence. So how best way, so this is actually orally I am presenting the information something like this. How best way that we can represent this one? So it is best way is by using the state diagram. Okay, so let us see the state diagram. Let us consider S0 will be your S0 will be your state of the system. As I mentioned that what do you mean by a state of the system? The content available in the memory element. S0 will be the state of the system. So for example, when 0 will be the input, 101 for example, you write something like this. So for example, first bit we considered. First bit we considered. First bit is 1 has come. That means that 1 is detected by the system, right? So therefore it moves to the next state. it moves to the next state, that is called S1. So what we can observe that if 1 is the input at this stage, then it will move to the next state. What is the output then? Output is only 0 only. Okay, because 3 bits not yet completed. Okay, now what if S is equal to S in S1 S0 state, 0 has come. Okay, so for example something like this, so 0 has come, then the system cannot change its state. Okay, it remains in the same state. It remains in the same state. Why? Because it remains in the same state. Why? Because 0 is not detected. Okay, because 1 is a valid bit, but 0 is not a valid bit because the sequence is started with logic 1. Okay, so for this one, the output is equal to, if it is 0, the output is equal to 0 again. Now at this point, we have already detected 1, but we have to take a decision whether it is 0, whether it is 1. Then now we can see from here top this side onwards. So 10 actually is a valid sequence. 10 is actually a valid sequence. Okay, if you observe carefully, 10 is a valid sequence. 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 Whenever it is a valid sequence, it will go to the next state. That is called S2. If 0 has the output will come. If 0 is my output is come. Okay. For example, 1 has an output. For example, it come. 1 is an input, it has come. That means 1 is not a valid sequence. 1 is not a valid sequence, so it cannot go move. And this side it cannot go move forward. It will be there in the remain same state, or it will go back to the initial state. That is the two possibilities are there. Okay, since 1 is now we have to concentrate it on the logic 1. If it is depending upon logic 1, that means from this bit onwards we can start a new sequence, right? Therefore, what we can say that this is already 1 is already detected as 1. Therefore, we will be remains there in the same state. We should be remain in the same state. Okay. So if it is 1, so for example, ఇక్కడ 0 ఉందనుకోండి. For example, ఈ కేసు 0 ఉంటే నెక్స్ట్ స్టేట్కి వెళ్ళిపోయింది. ఎందుకంటే ఆల్రెడీ 10 అనేది వ్యాలిడ్ సీక్వెన్స్ కాబట్టి వ్యాలిడ్ బిట్ గురించి డిస్కషన్ వద్దు ఇంకా. So first we have to think about it's a valid sequence or not. If it is not a valid sequence, then we think about valid bit. If it is a valid bit, is depending upon valid bit conditions, whether we have to move backward for 1 step, 2 step, or 3 steps. Okay, that's what we have to remember. Now, here we have already detected 1 0. Now there is a possibility of 1, and there is a possibility of 0. Okay. So is it a valid sequence or not? Yeah, 101 is a valid sequence. Then where it has to go then? So actually it's a 3 bits are completed, there is no doubt. But here we have to think about depending upon the valid bit sequence. So valid bit గురించి డిస్కషన్ చేయాలి. ఇంతకు ముందు అయితే వ్యాలిడ్ బిట్ అనేది సీక్వెన్స్ ఒకసారి మనం కన్ఫర్మ్ అయితే ఫార్వర్డ్కి వెళ్తాం. సీక్వెన్స్ అనేది కన్ఫర్మ్ కాలేదనుకోండి, అప్పుడు వ్యాలిడ్ బిట్ గురించి ఆలోచిస్తాం. బట్ ద సేమ్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ నోటేషన్ వీ కెనాట్ అప్లై అట్ ద S2 because in S2 the sequence is already completed. Therefore, we have to remain there in the same state or go back to the 1 or 2 steps backward to that one. Okay, that's what we have to remember. So therefore, if 1 is but 101 valid sequence output 1 was, but it will. So it has to move to the where 1 has detected. Okay, it's a valid bit kada 1 ekkadunda akadiki vellipovali. Okay, so therefore this is called 1 divided by 1. Output is 1. Okay, now what about 100 sequence? So 100 is not a valid sequence, and if you consider only 0 bit, it is also not a valid bit. Therefore, immediately it will go to the original position. Immediately it will go to the original position. Therefore, that is called 0 by 0. Now, so this is the state diagram that represents. By looking at this state diagram, we can understand what is the sequence is all about. Okay, అంటే మీరు బాగా స్టేట్ డయాగ్రామ్స్ తెలుసుకున్నట్లయితే it is the best possible way to understand the circuit diagram, so the operation of the digital system. Okay, if you don't have any idea about the state diagrams properly, then you feel that this is a very difficult task to understand the operation of the digital system. Okay, but anyway, for the complex circuits, this is what happening generally. Okay, so how do we describe this circuitry? So that's what important. So this is actually, so far whatever we have discussed, that is based on the digital logic design basics. Okay, now the point is how to write the Verilog program for this one. Okay, so I'm going to say something like this. You take one combinational block. As I mentioned, that is a sequential circuit, right? The sequential circuit consisting of combinational block. Similarly, you should have a memory block. Okay, so just can you wait for 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes? Wait చేయగలరా క్లాస్ ఉందా ఆపేయమంటారా? Somebody has to give response.
అయిపోతుందండి చెప్పండి సార్.
Babu?
5 minutes అయిపోతుందండి చెప్పండి.
Just for 5 minutes, just I'll give the basic idea. Okay, fine. So here what we do is that the input is coming from outside, right? Always the primary input is connected here. The primary input is, for example, X. So it is producing an output called Y. Okay, this Y is actually connected to this one. I think it's better to write it in the part of this part select that I can write. Some part select of this one is connected here, and this part is selected here. Can anybody tell me what is the size of this memory? Of course, memory is there, clock is there. What is the size of the memory? So that means, as I mentioned, that the content available in the memory is nothing but the state of the system. Okay, how many states are there here for this particular system? 3 states are there. For example, one state ki oka bit vaadanu anukondi, second state ki em vastundi 1 bit vaadanu anukondi, appudu enni bits vastayi naaku 2 bits vastayi ante kada, 0 1 1. So for 0 I'm able to give this 0 to this one, 1 I'm able to give to the S1, but S2 నేను ఇవ్వలేను, అందుకని నేను తీసుకోవాలి, నేను ఇప్పుడు 2 bits I should consider. Okay, so 0 0 means I can consider for this one, 0 1 means I can consider for S1, 1 0 means S2 I can consider. So what is the size of, so everything has been counted, or like is given the particular identification. We did not miss any identification. Okay, so in this situation, how many bits are there? What is the size of this one? The size of this one is 2 bit size. This is also 2 bit size. Now it is very simple. Now this is your block diagram. So now we have 2 blocks are there, block 1, block 2. Okay, so we need to write a Verilog program for this one. So take one particular block for this one, take one particular block for this one. Okay, so ఇక్కడ ఏం చేస్తాం, సింపుల్గా ఏం చేస్తాం, what is the concept of the memory block? Whenever we have a clock signal, ఇక్కడ ఉన్న information అనేది ఇక్కడికి వెళ్ళిపోవాలి, అంతే కదా. That's what we can do. So therefore what I can simply write it is one always statement. I'll write one always statement that is depending upon the clock, అంతేనా. So that's depending upon the clock signal, right? So therefore simply we can write a D flip-flop notation, but we have to write the size of this one. Okay, next, another clock is another always block. This always block is depending upon what factors? X comma present state. So for example, this is a present state, this is the next state anukunnam. Okay, this is the next state and present state. So depending upon this one, we can write a program for this one. So e program ekkadi nunchi vastundi naku, if you see, observe carefully, this is relevant to the state diagram. This is relevant to the state diagram. అంటే ఏమవుతుంది, ఇప్పుడు x is equal to 0 అయినప్పుడు మీరు పలానా స్టేట్లో ఉన్నారు, పలానా స్టేట్ S0 లో ఉన్నారు. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ దేర్ ఇన్ ద S0 స్టేట్, if suppose x kanaka 0 aithe ekkadiki veltaru, y x is equal to 1 aithe ekkadiki veltaru. That information that we should write. Okay, so I think it's difficult to understand right now. So if time permits me, I will write the Verilog program for this one in the evening time, and I will post it in our group. Therefore, you can study for that one. Okay. With this, we have completed the entire concept of the entire 3 units we have completed, and we will see the 4th unit in the next class. Okay. Thank you.